Welcome to the Enlighten Up podcast, where I am going to take you into a deep exploration of what it means to exist in this current reality. We are going to raise your vibes, open your mind, expand your heart, and dive deep into the wondrous mysteries and possibilities of this lifetime. There's been a spiritual catalyst that has set in motion the awakening process of many across the globe to return to the knowingness of self and unite what has been separated. Together, we're going to bring light into that darkness. We're going to remember the joy of living. But most of all, we're going to turn up the volume of our own eternal power and do the thing we're here to do. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Enlighten Up podcast. And as you can see, I have two lovely ladies rejoining me for another fabulous show. You guys really enjoyed their last episode when they were channeling the Galactic Council of Light. I have Pamela Downs and Lisa Roche back with me from Spirit Calling. Ladies, how are you both doing today?
Great. Hi, Nicole.
Really well. So thrilled to be here. We had a great time. We always have a great time with you. We had a great time on our last appearance.
Yeah, and we've been enjoying your podcast. I've been watching all of your episodes and loving your guests.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And
very much so.
And some of my people in the alchemy and some people who are clients have written that they've joined your Spirit Calling group, and they're really loving the messages that are coming through there. So it's been wonderful. And this is what it's all about, right? It's about helping all of us connect and find our tribe and find our support systems, because we all hold codes for one another, you know, that are activating, and you just never know. And it works. I want everyone in the audience to know that you are activating us, you know, like it's a mutual reception here. So, today's topic is, of course, we're about to make a big transition out of 2022 into 2023. And, I, for one, am a little excited. I know it's going to definitely come with a bumpy ride, but I also see a lot of opportunity ahead. And I recently put out a video on my 2023 predictions, which I know both of you ladies tuned into. And I'm curious for the audience to kind of get a sense of what you ladies have been getting through your messages. Let's just start overall. What's your sense of going into 2023? What does 2023 feel like to you? What do you sense is coming? Like, what's the main theme there for each of you?
Gosh.
You want to go first, Pamela?
A huge shift is coming. I mean, that's what we continue to hear over and over again. And the Great Council of Light is very, kind and loving with their words. But really, it's about preparedness and getting ready. Mm-hmm. And we love when they say things like, you will not be able to stop and look at what is before you. There's something happening.
You will not be able to not.
Yeah. You will not be able to take eyes away from what is before you. Mm-hmm. And when we hear things like that, we understand that the magnitude of what they're saying.
Which is interesting, because that was a message that I got, and I think you reached out to me and said that is exactly what I've been getting as well. So that is something that felt like whatever's going to be happening next year. And again, I don't want people to think like this is some blanketed like energy force that's going to come through and everyone's just going to magically wake up. Like, that's not what I think either of us are trying to say. But there is going to be a shift that breaks some of that trance, breaks some of that spell, where you cannot not look at the thing you don't want to look at anymore, or you don't want to see.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've been preparing our community for several months now to get them used to the idea of what you draw your attention to is what shows up in your life. So, and that's been really super deliberate. We've been guided to sort of ease them into this little bit of a shit show that's going to be coming, because change is never comfortable. I can't say like somebody's going to come and completely destroy the country. That's not the case. What is most likely going to happen is that your life is going to change. You're going to see some hardship. You're going to see some major changes that need to be made in your life. And people are so used to, they don't realize that they're blind, right? They don't realize that they need to wake up. So they're waking up at the same time every day, and getting a shower at the exact time every day, and brushing your teeth the exact same way, and taking out your clothes without thinking about it. And nothing is intentional. So you get up and you go out and you go to work, and then you do your job, and then you come home, and there's zero thought. That's what's changing. Like,
Yeah, they're constantly giving a message of look within right now. Like there's one from November, and every month they're still the same, but they're getting more urgent. And they're saying, prepare yourself now. Like November 27th, they talked all about the divining experience that all other planets are looking down and marvel and wonder at the greatness of what we're going to experience. And they'll talk all about that, but then they'll say, there's a time coming to your planet where all will hurt. You will hurt from that place from within that is light. You will long to be understood and kind and connected once again. You will grow your spirit in an evolution of necessity. Do you see? You will
have no choice.
No choice. You will look at one another and not understand what it is that you are experiencing. What is great unknown that we have never sunken our teeth into. Only looking at what is before us and not seeing the pocket of light that is within you. And we love it when they say the pocket of light. It's just the most beautiful metaphor.
We're cracking open, right?
Yeah.
Cracking.
About crack open and
open. Come on now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think this is part of the issue I have with the whole light and love community, is that it really bypasses the whole process of allowing that light through. It's not comfortable to allow the light through, especially when you've been so closed up, and we're programmed to be so closed up. And I think I completely agree with you. And that's a message that I got very distinctly when I kind of was in that psilocybin journey, and these messages for 2023 were coming through, was that there will be a time next year we'll start to see the initiation of a reconnection of humanity, in a sense that the big divide that has occurred over the last few years, and when I say the last few years, it's been happening for a while, but it really became
couple decades, but it really did.
It's going to finally start to close. Like the energies are getting ready to close that gap. And I want to say very specifically that this requires all parties involved to drop all the pretenses, to drop all the notions that you think you have about yourself, about others. It is a time to find common ground. It is not a time to focus on the differences and all of that. What I love is that the nodes are changing next summer. The nodes are changing out of Taurus, Scorpio, and they're going into Aries, Libra. Well, Aries represents the self, and Libra represents our relationships. It also represents balance. It represents other people in our lives. And because the South Node is moving into Libra, this represents a purging. And I think we're going to experience a purging of what has ever been truly pulling us apart. And we're going to get rid of that toxic element that is like, you need to listen to me. This is my truth. No, you listen to my truth. And it's like, no, like, let's just hear all each other out and know that all is valid, and let's work on the relationships, not on the need to be heard. And I say that delicately because I think we all are suffering from a wound of needing to be heard. but sometimes that wound gets exacerbated in these trauma factors that we've experienced over the last couple of years. It's been heightened, where everyone just wants to be heard, but no one's listening.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, I keep saying, right, Lisa, take these moments to look within.
Yes.
Inner words. What are you thinking? What is your dialogue? Like, discernment. That's the other word, discernment, over and
Discernment.
over. Yeah. Yes.
Unity, discernment, soul purpose, solidarity. These are the words that just keep repeating. It's interesting when you look at, I'm such a nerd and I love to see the patterns in absolutely everything. But you can look over the past few decades and you can watch just how society has changed. And you went from, just the man works outside the home and the woman stays at home, right? So then the woman is like a part of the home, right? And then you can go a little bit farther and now the woman starts to work and the man starts to work and she's bringing home just as much and as he is. And now there's this clash of, well, then who's in charge? Right. And so now we've gone from, well, women should have all the power, right? That's a divine awakening. And we've had a masculine strength for so long, since the beginning of time, that I think people mistakenly think that we're going into an all-female, like Amazonian warrior princess mode, and that's not the case either. We're looking for harmony of these two energies. It's funny that we started our conversation off with harmonizing energy, in your home.
Yes.
Right? We're harmonizing the energy of the entire world. And that takes light workers, you, Pamela, myself, others like us, to rise up and teach, right? It's why we were part of, you can't call us the first wave, we're not, but we're part of a leadership, an ascended leadership that is going to lead our communities now, because it's exponential when you've got people who come through. I love that you drew attention to the pain. The pain of ascending, and that is the whole reason why spirit calling is in existence, because it hurts like a motherfucker to awaken and have no idea what's happening.
Yeah. And
well,
it's not comfortable.
Right. But they talk about you said what's coming. Yes. They keep telling us they're going to come in waves of millions.
Yes.
Yes. For us to prepare. And what's really beautiful too, Nicole, like they've been speaking to humankind, and I'll ask they're always channeling, but like now they're like community members, they are getting like down and dirty. Yes. They were telling them last week, like, this is what we need you to do. You guys work as
clear directive.
You need to spread the word of spirit calling. Like we're just in awe and wonder. We just think they're amazing. And
like all the time.
Like a parent, But
what's neat is that they're being really very clear. Listen, it's going to hurt. You're going to have discomfort when your physicality is trying to catch up with your energetic. You suffer and you have pain. Here's a perfect example right now, and I told you about this, Pamela. I did something to my groin, the groin muscle. No idea. I do squats all the time, and yet for some reason I have strained my groin. Who knows why? But what I did was go, okay, so that's the physicality of something. That's the pain of something. So what's behind the pain? We have to dig in order to heal. You have to dig. So when you said everybody's screaming, they're screaming pain. When people yell, it's just pain coming out their throats instead of a tennis elbow or hip surgery. You know what I mean? It's just the energy of pain. Get behind the pain. Why are you in pain? Why are you throwing your pain out into the world instead of dealing with what's actually creating? So that's what I mean with the feminine energy. It's the softness. It's that soft energy that's behind all that pain, the pain that was born of the masculine. Does not make the masculine bad. The masculine's kept us alive for thousands of years. It's kept us alive.
Well, and the pain is also of the feminine, because when we look at the wounds of the feminine, it's very manipulative. That's manipulative energy. And we see a lot of manipulation. Manipulation is a feminine wound. And both men and women partake in that. And so aggression, and I say aggression kind of with air quotes, because I don't think aggression is always a bad thing. But like that dominating aggression, bullying kind of energy that is a masculine wound, that is definitely prevalent in our world. We see it all. I see it prevalent through the spiritual community too. And so one of the things I just recently did a talk on too, was about pain. And I created a reel about this. And working with your pain, people need to understand that pain is not about, when you're trying to go through this healing journey, you're trying to, find your light or allow your light to shine through more. It's not about removing your pain. It's about repurposing your pain. And repurposing your pain is what's going to activate a lifetime of purpose for you that will bring you so much joy, so much gratitude through your own service to others. Of course, service to yourself as well. It goes hand in hand. There's nothing wrong with that.
Don't be a martyr.
No, do not be a martyr. Martyrdom is the trick. It's like it's the little slippery slope that a lot of people like to get. Well, they don't like to get stuck in it, but they tend to get stuck in it. And that's prevalent. That's been an imprint put on the religious and spiritual communities to hold those who actually have power back from exploring the power through accessing their pain. So I think that, if you say there's some pain coming next year, listen, for everyone, don't look at that as a bad thing. Look at that as an opportunity to find more of your purpose, it's a catalyst to activate that purpose. All of my pain that I have, the deepest pain I've ever gone through has birthed my greatest purpose so far to date. So, of course, going through it sucks. No one wants to be there when it's happening. I totally agree with that. But when it's time to truly go in and explore, you have to.
Absolutely.
And, one of the things that I think we're going to see a lot of, and I'm curious if you guys have received any information about this. Last week, we had the 1221 portal. When this airs, it'll be after the 1221 portal. And I received these messages about the great Sophia codes coming in through the 1221.
Have you read that book, by the way, the Sophia codes?
No.
Oh, get it, read it. Everybody watching this, get it, read it.
What's it called?
Sophia codes.
Oh, the Sophia codes. Okay. I've never read them. I don't know. This is just what came through my psilocybin journey. So I'm like, okay. And which I kind of appreciate because I don't know anything about it. But so when it comes through, I'm like, okay. And then I get all these confirmations from people afterwards. The reason why these codes are coming through is because we have a very fiery year ahead of us in 2023. There's a lot of aggression, a lot of anger coming up to the surface. And it's just from that place of, I've had enough, I don't want to take this anymore. Now, let's dial that down from the collective level and just dial that into your personal life. There are certain things you've had enough of in your own individual life. And that is going to necessitate a catalyst for you to go after what it is you need to go after, for you to move, because that's another thing that 2023 is all about movement, lots and lots of movement next year. But we sometimes need our anger to facilitate. And that's where the anger becomes a positive thing. Now, the important thing is that a power within us is going to be unleashed when this realization comes through. And it's going to come through at varying different times for everyone throughout your life. Or when I say next year, you do not want that power to consume you. And that power can easily consume you if you're not grounded properly and you're not in the right balance of the feminine energies to balance that out. And so this 1221 portal is bringing forth ahead of time the great Sophia codes that will soften all of the energies. It's meant to ground. It's meant to bring some sort of peace in that will serve you well when the fire gets ignited next year.
So it's neat, right? We can talk about this as a balance of elements.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were just discussing, when you have a whole lot of fire, you need some water to balance it out so you don't burn down your forest of abundance, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing. You can't have a whole lot of gold and a whole lot of water. All you'll do is rust your metal element. You can't have a whole lot of fire with a whole lot of earth because you'll just burn through it. You have to balance all of these. So we're coming from a place of a lot of masculine power. The absolute opposite of that is a lot of feminine manipulation, right? So now we're tipping the scales, and a lot of people are, I think, mistakenly going into, oh, then we have to have a lot of feminine power. So, and then that winds up getting balanced with masculine manipulation, right? So you see it playing out in our world. If somebody wants a real-time example, you can see it with, women marching for their rights, right? For the right for body ownership and autonomous in their medical decisions. And then you've got men who are playing the system to create the rules, right? So whatever, to try and gain more control. So everybody's just trying to play this game.
Mm-hmm.
And what 2023 is all about is stop playing the game.
The pieces are going. They're like,
the chessboard is getting cleared.
That's 2023.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the Great Awakening. And Pamela, you can speak to that. She hears the glass ceiling shattering. That's the everybody looking around going, oh my God, I believe this the whole time.
I mean, in 2020, I was told, they told me there would be war. And I said, well, really? I mean, there's going to be a war. Yes, there's war. I saw thousands and thousands of ships in the sky, just presenting themselves, not in, in any sort of fearful way, but just saying, hey, we're here. As far as the eye could see, I saw it. Mm-hmm. I haven't talked about that in forever. They just brought that into a channel last week.
Yeah. She has seen that. And unbeknownst to me, I had no idea that Pamela had those visions back in 2020. And then what I am seeing is the ships rising from the water to just hover and just to show you there's more to life, right? There's more than just you. You're not the be all end all. What makes you think you're the be all end all? That's the ego, right? That you're the be all end all.
One of the things that just came through while both of you were saying that is, I think a lot of us understand. I mean, when I say a lot of us, I mean those who listen to my podcast and follow you guys understand that this life exists already here. Like the ships are already here. Some people are already seeing them. The underwater life forms, different dimensions within the water system are there. To me, if we can't get along with each other, what makes you think that those other entities are in a position to come down here and get along with us? Like, if I were coming into someone's home and I saw
and everybody's fighting,
that everyone was fighting with one another, I'd be like, fuck this shit. I'm going somewhere else, like I'm not going there. And so people, we need to get it together. Like we need to get it together here. Like start bringing harmony in, find ways. And I know that there's issues where it's like, oh, my family, they just don't understand, or my friends, they just don't understand. They don't see things the way I see them. And I get it. But you also don't see things the way they see them. And that has to be a realization that all of us come to. How do we find the common ground?
Yeah.
How do we move beyond the need to, prove whatever we're saying is true or be right, and just get along with one another?
It's the proving. It's the proving. Mm-hmm. And that's what we keep hearing. You don't have to prove anything. That's your ego talking.
Yeah.
Well, I have to be right and you have to be wrong. No, I'm right because from what I see, I'm right. You see something completely different. You don't live in my body. You have different eyes. You have a different neurological system. You have a different brain capacity. You
Different
see things differently,
experiences.
different experience completely. You
Mhm.
can see that two people in the same room, they're going to take in different things.
And they said, Lisa,
So,
remember, look at your family, your loved one,
yes,
stranger that's crossing
yes,
the street. Look at them all with love. Because it is,
yes,
you've moved through this life, not thinking, only thinking of what is before you, but your dull moments that you're trying to fill with things are about to be taken away
yes.
from you. And when you hear that, you're like,
Holy
okay,
shit balls.
right?
Well, and then also think about the North Node going into Aries is about the
Yeah,
self, right?
yes,
And we still have Chiron in Aries. And so there's going to be a nice conjunction there at some point where the North Node passes Chiron. And this is truly about aligning yourself with your truth, right?
yes.
But how do you do that and all
Clean
still
up
get
your shit.
along? Yeah, clean up your
Clean
side
up
of the
your
street.
shit.
That's
Yeah.
what
Because when you recognize that you have shit,
Mm-hmm.
then you go, oh, I'm not so perfect, am I?
Mm-hmm.
So who am I? Who am I to tell you that your shit stinks more than mine?
Mm-hmm.
Right? First, I mean, it's that simple. Clean up your shit. Recognize you have shit. Recognize that you're not perfect.
Yeah.
And
And
then when you're humbled to that point, you stop trying to shove all of your beliefs on everybody else.
I know. And this whole like, I just can't wait till everyone wakes up. And it's like, dude, you're part of that waking up process.
I know, wake up.
Like you're gonna also wake up. Like it's not like you're exempt from it. Like there's all things that we need to wake up to within our own lives. And I think there's this misperception that, oh, like once my family and friends and whatever start to see things the way I've seen them and I've known all along, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I promise you that there are veils within your perception that are going to get lifted and it's going to shock you. You can't have part of the world going through this massive unveiling and you somehow get exempt from it. Like it's not possible. It's not how it works down here. So I always try to recognize now, because of course I fell into that slot where I was like, wow, like can't they just see things? Like it's so obvious to me. Like how do you not see it? I was like that. I totally went through it. And I think that's part of the journey. So I don't want to diminish anyone for wherever you are in your journey. If you're there, it's just part of it. Eventually, though, you're going to get to a point where you're going to start to realize, what am I not wanting to see? What am I not willing to see? And why?
There's
Why am
always
I so
something.
adamant about not wanting to see it?
I mean,
yes.
there. I dropped the pen. I dropped the mic.
Oh my gosh. Because I know we might lose you soon, Pamela. Was there anything like message wise that you wanted to communicate to the audience specifically
Yes,
around 2023?
yeah, your guest that we were just talking about, who was your last guest, he was amazing. The
Oh,
astrologer.
Sama Dharma.
So he was speaking of what I've also seen, financial collapse. I started preparing for that in 2020 when I was told that that was going to happen. So I think that that's really important for people to understand that that is coming. People don't want to hear about it. People don't understand because they're watching the news. They're listening to the dialogue that's presented to them. But they really need to understand that it's inevitable, because in order to build up, we have to break down. That is coming. And Lisa and I talk about preparedness and just having, some things on hand in case of emergencies. I think there's going to be, and the guide said on our last channel, there's not just one thing, and you and I have talked about this before, Nicole, there's going to be many things that are disruptive, that are going to challenge us and put us in, we're going to try and ground and let it pass through us and not permeate us. But sometimes when you feel prepared, that might be a little bit easier, right? So we've been telling our community
You make
members,
it as easy as possible. Yeah.
it's fearful. It's having ownership of and taking just some sort of action to feel grounded in a physical sense, and because we are having a physical experience. there's that. And then I think, I don't know what's going to happen, and you know, I don't want to talk about it, but I think there's going to be, some alien stuff happening very soon, and I can't wait. Can't wait. So, yeah, Lisa, do you want to add to that? What do you remember also from our messages?
That we've been seeing and hearing, and again, like Pamela said, not from a fear-based standpoint, but the financial collapse, food shortage, water shortage, electrical instability, all of these things we're already seeing. They're already happening. I mean, we started seeing these at least a year ago. And I saw them in waves, you know. Some people experience them more, than more, than more. But understand that these are our basic needs. So when somebody goes through their ascension and their expansion, you start with cleaning up your lower chakras, okay? There goes my head. The root chakra is your tribal chakra. Where do I belong? What's with, you know, what's with my family and the rules and all of that and the regulations of my life. Then you're talking about the sacral chakra, which is all about that money and feeling safe and secure. Do I have enough water? Do I have enough food? Right? Then you get into the solar plexus, and that is the, do I have to fight for my freedom? Do I have to fight to feel safe? These are the energies that are getting cleared from the world. So you're going to experience that on the individual level and in your town, then your county, then your state, then your coast, then your country, right? You're going, and then throughout the world, you're going to see these trends happening. So there are all of this to get you out of your comfort zone, to start living from your heart. Let your heart be your lowest chakra, right? The rest is the fundamentals, the stability that holds you up. Once those are taken care of, you have the freedom to then lead with your heart. This is what 2023 is. Clean out the shit of the lower three chakras so that you can start living from the ease of your heart. Now, it's going to be hard. It's going to be uncomfortable. You've got to get through it. There's stuff you can do, right? Like if you know the winter storm is coming, are you just going to be like, to the winter storm? No, you're going to say it's coming up the coast. Maybe I should get some salt. Maybe I should put some gas in the generator. So when my power goes out, I'm prepared. Yeah. It's the exact same thing. Get some water, get some food, get some wood, just be prepared. Don't be stupid about
it. And just do it from a place of
empowerment.
Empowerment.
Well, just like, you know, like no matter what happens, I know I'm good. It may not happen. I'm still good. It does happen. I'm good. Like, it's not about like willing it to happen because you're scared. You know, that's not what this is about. And I do believe that depending on where you are in your own journey, some people are going to experience less intensity levels than others. And that depends on a whole bunch of different factors. It's not even just about where you're at your journey. It's about some of the contracts you have in your soul, like where you're living, like what you're here to clear out. Like there's a whole bunch of different factors there. But also, you know, your beliefs are what create your reality. Your belief system creates the frequency, which shapes your perception. And so your belief structure, if you are going to go into this place of the doom and gloom, knowing that, okay, hard times happen in everyone's life. It's like we're in cycles. We're just in a cycle right now where we've had it good for a while. So it's going to hurt a little more because we've been used to some of the good times, right? So it's just a matter of, okay, this is the part where I have to be a little bit more maybe conservative with a few things, not from a place of lack, just a place of smarts, you know, intelligence.
Exactly. It also gives you an opportunity to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And through creativity, you expand. Through creativity, your pineal gland gets stronger. Through creativity, your third eye opens, your crown opens. You start receiving more divine inspiration, divine guidance, the more creative you are. So Pamela's going through a cycle now where she's been called to paint, right? Like all the time.
Yeah. my creative process has just flipped 100% because I'm a performer and a singer and musician. And there has just been, I know I'm done with that. It's not serving me anymore. I just felt such a need to close that chapter and to move into the next part of who I am. And the painting is like fast and furious. And I received downloads in channel. We did a dual channel. It was a beautiful, amazing experience. And all these messages came in. I got inspiration for this painting. And during the day when I'm working my full-time job, you know, and I'm busy every second of the day, it's just popping in. Well, the guides told I had to stop, paint, and then continue to work throughout the day. The guide said, keep painting, Pamela, keep painting, because through painting, I am receiving information and I'm helping the portal that we are creating and in creation mode with. I am fueling that with that creativity and that energy and that birthing energy and all of it. And it's unbelievable. So who thought I would be painting and going to the store and picking out metallics and brushes? And it's so wonderful. I love it. Loving every second of it. But
and it's true. I think that desperation will breed creativity, right? And sometimes, you know, if we're not pushed enough to an edge, we won't actually do the thing that, you know, we're feeling that nudge to do. And so that is also part of our programming that, of course, you can break. You can start just taking initiative and not waiting for like everything to fall apart in order for you to be like motivated to do something. That is something that I realized was one of my programs. And I'm like, okay, it's time to start shifting that program. I do not want to like push everything to the edge. And then the only way I'm motivated is when like the heat is so hot. If I don't do something, I'm burned, you know, like it's really about changing that. And I think too, with this whole like 2023 year is I see that, remember again, and I keep saying this, but I want to keep saying it because it's important, that wherever there's crisis, there's also opportunity. And you can choose where you want to focus on. If you're prepared, you won't need to really focus on a crisis. And if no crisis happens, you're still in a really good position, but you're more able to actually see the opportunities where, you know, there's going to be industries that open up that are way more lucrative. They're going to be areas to work or earn money, or, you know, just things that you might be able to invest in that are going to be really opportune at this time. The people who do well during crisis are the ones who don't pull back.
Yeah.
we saw that.
Yes.
Look at all of the opportunities that happened during COVID because people changed their perspective and went inward rather than outward. And she and I are, and spirit calling as a result of that.
Absolutely. I mean, and another thing to think about, like using COVID as the example. Number one, the news cycles all focus on the negative. This many people dying, these many people sick. I'm not saying that they were wrong. I'm not saying anybody was lying. I'm saying all the numbers are absolutely correct. But how many people gathered? How many people found creative ways to get through it? How many people found creative ways to share love, right? So instead of focusing on, you know, if we look at COVID again, instead of focusing on, I can't see and hug my family. So I'm going to sit here in the headspace of, I'm really sad because my family's been taken away from me. Instead of sitting in that, how about you sit in the, oh my God, I get to actually sit outside and talk with them, right? I'm 6 feet away, but I still get to see them. I still get to be in their energy field. I still get to experience them. No, I can't hug them. No, I can't. That wasn't safe. Fine. But I can still see them. And I can blow a kiss from across the yard, right? There are options. There are creative solutions always, 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 always. The only time you hit a no is because you've decided it's a no. Not because there's no solution. There is always a solution. So my husband and I, years ago, it's gonna be so funny. Years ago, we watched this episode of God, now I can't even think of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. If you know this show, it's like a ridiculous show about these. I mean, I guess you would consider them loser human beings who live in a bar, basically, right? But one episode was dedicated to say yes to the experience and see where that led them. And these two ridiculous characters wound up like with some mafia guy in Atlantic City, but they were not saying no. And from that ridiculous episode, my husband and I said, how about we try that?
Yeah.
It just seems interesting, right? What would happen if we never said no? What would happen if we always said yes? And everything started to change because you say yes and then you figure out a way to make it work. And every time you say yes and figure out a way to make it work, you grow. And you start to define what resonates with you and what doesn't resonate with you. So I can say yes to eating a meatball and realizing, oh, that didn't agree with my stomach. So next time I'm going to say yes to a cheeseburger instead. And then next time I'm going to say yes to chicken, right? So it's just a matter of figuring out what works for you. It's a beautiful recipe. You are a beautiful recipe for your own ascension. It's amazing.
I love
That's
that.
how I found my beloved. I watched the
Yes.
in 2021 and right before the New Year's. And my friend Vipul, he's on the portal. He is such a good close friend of ours. He said, "What if go watch Jim Carrey? Go watch The Yes Man." And I watched it. So I started everything. And like, do you want to come and visit me in Florida? Yes. And then, did you want to do this? Yes. And then by the series of yeses, I met my beloved, who I've been with now for a year. It happened right after.
And that wasn't even you, right? I mean, it was like your mom.
No,
Right.
I was through Florida, and so was he. And that's how it happened. But that's what Spirit wants us to do, is sit in the wonderment, not let things permeate us, just resonate, in a higher frequency where we can kind of put shields up and not worry about the world. And so if there's all these things happening and there's collapses and you've got your water, you have your silver, you'll be okay.
You're gonna be okay. You've got the stuff to sustain life.
Yeah,
Now start working on your soul. Like, it's all about sustaining your physicality so that you can now grow your soul. We've been stuck in the let's create comfort for our physicality.
I talk about that too.
Well, yes, they do. Yes, they do.
About that. Man, oh man, we'll have to do like a hardcore 2023 predictions, maybe like in the new year.
It would be so much fun.
Yeah. And just ask them, like, let's do a Q&A with them. It would be so fun. They're always giving us so many nuggets. And, I feel just like I did, and Lisa talks like this too, in 2019, something big is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Big is about to happen. Something big. We didn't know what we were talking about. Well, yeah, something big happened in 2020. I feel like something big is coming, but like an exciting way.
Yeah, me too.
This rush, and I don't know if you've had this experience recently, Nicole, but with Spirit calling and Lisa and I, the connections are just so rapid. And it's super, super, super fast, faster than it's ever been. Like someone
can't keep up with it, like forced to not be able to keep up with it.
Like in 1 week's time, the connections, the frequency raise, like changes happen, messages happen, creativity, like it's unbelievable. So if more of that is coming, yeah, I'm down with that. I can't wait to see what happens.
And we have no choice but to surrender.
Yes.
Right? When your phone is blowing up with all these wonderful opportunities, you don't have time to sit back and say, oh, well, I'm really scared to try that, or I'm really scared to talk to that person. You only have time to say, yes, 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 yes. Let's see.
Figure it out later.
And we'll figure it out later. We will make it work.
Yeah.
And that's part of what too. And I think when just even receiving that message, that brief message of 2023 is about a lot of movement, is stop waiting for something to happen. Stop waiting for this to occur. Stop waiting, even in your own life, stop waiting for this thing to change, for that person to see things differently, for your job situation to change, your health to change. Like, I don't know, whatever it might be that you might be waiting to happen. Like, you just cannot be waiting anymore. You've got to start acting. And what are the actions that you would take if it were already happening? Start doing those, and then guess what might happen?
A little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're already prepared.
Joe Dispenza talks about that all the time, like you need to act as if, because the belief system, if you don't actually do it, then you don't believe that it's actually going to happen, which means you're probably not going to see it in your reality.
Right. You have to believe it. I mean, I try to tell my kids that all the time. You have to act. That's what we did with the portal. Well, we know that millions are coming. We've seen it in our dual meditation channeling this past week. We both saw visions. It's like they showed a cup. The people are just coming. The waves I used to hear in 2020 when I was channeling, waves, 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 waves. I thought it was a big tidal wave. I thought it was I don't know what it was. What they said recently, it's the waves of people that are coming to the portal. So, we have to.
As numerous as grains of sand.
Mm-hmm.
That's how many people are waking up.
Yes.
Like, isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Let me share a dream I had a few nights ago with you, just as you
Okay.
talked about the wave. So a couple of nights ago, I had the most incredibly vivid dreams, and there was just one after the next, after the next. And I was like, and I woke up remembering all of it. I'm like, wow, like that. I haven't had a dream night like that in a while. And one of the dreams, I remember standing on a beach, and I saw this couple of massive walls of water. So it wasn't a wave, it was a wall of water that was 50 stories high. And I'm just looking at it from the beach going, wow, like what's happening there? And then all of a sudden, it just started crumbling down. It just started falling over. And it's not like I don't even know how to say, like, it didn't like splash like water or anything like that. And I got this sense that, okay, two things. One is that the walls that people hold around their hearts and their emotions are coming down.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see a big surge as well in intuition.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I'm already seeing across the board. I hope people are getting out of their echo chambers and starting to go into places they wouldn't normally listen, and diversify like where you're getting your information from, because I am seeing the entire world value intuition in a completely different way than I've ever seen it before. It's going to become a like coveted skill. Pamela, I love you. I know you have to jump off, so we'll let you go, but thank you so much for being here with us.
So great to see you as usual. Can't wait to come back again. And we can't wait to have you on our community.
I
know. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Bye, guys.
All right, sweetie. Bye.
See ya.
So what I think, this dream, because I was not scared when the wall came down, it wasn't like this terror. It wasn't like run for your life. It wasn't anything that I felt like it was going to come up and wash onto the beach. It was more of like whatever is holding back the barriers of people's emotions or hearts, intuition, like everything that water represents, it's coming down. And it was a big wall. So it's like, I think people are going, and I think this is about like what we talked about in the beginning, the cracking open.
Yeah.
The cracking open, and it hurts. So like it can be exciting in one breath, but you also know that in order for that to happen, a lot of people have to connect with their pain. They have to be willing to face that. And so I think it's going to be interesting. I don't know if that dream was pertaining to 2023 or not, but it was a very vivid dream that I had, that it didn't necessarily feel like it was just for me. Like it felt like I was looking at something collectively.
Yeah. And that's the feeling I get from it when you speak, that so water is abundant. Water is energy, right? And how is it going to flow? How is it going to flow to you? We were talking about your home. How does it flow into your home? With ease. You can make it really difficult, or you can make it easy. You're going to learn. Regardless, you're going to learn. It's up to you how much it has to hurt.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was a near-death experience, and a couple of them. And then a real brutal, dramatic takedown. It doesn't have to be like that though. If you have people who say, listen, ripping the band-aid off is going to hurt, how about you go soak it first? And then it only hurts a little bit when you take it off, right? That's the thing. So your awakening experience is going to hurt. So how about you prepare for it? How about you do some things to actually make it easier? And those things are getting to know yourself, trying to figure out your intuitive, intelligent system is trying to talk to you and tell you how to make things easier on you. And I can guarantee you it's not fighting with everybody around you. That will never make it easier. All you're doing is building up a fire within you. That's going to hurt, right? And you're already, I mean, it's why we have climate change. It's why the planet's getting hotter, because everybody's temperatures are rising. Everybody's getting literally hot under the collar. And you can do, like, I talk about this all the time within Spirit Calling. In fact, for Christmas, I have been one by one, whoever I asked, where do you feel stuck in your life? Because I want you to be able to process that before you get into 2023. Like, where do you feel most stuck in your life? And how about we deal with that? So here are some tools, and here's what you can do to try and make things easier for you. And the number one is get to know yourself, right? The more you're screaming, the less time you have to actually listen to yourself. So tap into your heart. Why do you feel so pained? Why do you feel the need to convince everybody that you're right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And why do you have no patience? Why do you have no space for anybody else or their opinions? Right? Once you take a step back and look at it from a different perspective, then you recognize everybody else is screaming because they're in pain. Doesn't that just break you? Doesn't that just hurt? Don't you hurt for them? There's your compassion. So you have a choice. You can we're breaking open regardless, right? It could be violent, and it could be energetically somebody just coming over with the jaws of life and ripping you open, or you can ease your way into it through compassion. Take a step back, really listen, really connect, and find your compassion, because that's what starts to melt the shield that you have around you. Right? So that wall of water can come crashing down and drown everybody, or it can just start to ripple down. Don't you like a
And that's
ripple
what it
instead?
looked like. I mean, there was a crumbling effect, but it didn't feel disastrous. It didn't feel like, I don't even know, like it didn't feel what's the word I'm looking for? Traumatizing. That's the word I'm like. It starts with a T. Traumatized. It didn't look traumatizing. It was just, I was looking actually in awe. I was in total awe as I saw. I was like, wow.
Well, you are witnessing the awakening experience that everybody's going to experience if they're not already. Right? You're sitting there, you're witnessing. That's your job. I mean, it's why you're so good at what you do. You sit and you witness, you bear witness to, and you create the space for. So here you are in your dream, creating the space for all humanity to see this wall water is abundance. You're seeing abundance start to flow down. I mean, talk about that, the frequency of abundance, right? You're watching it flow down. That's what we're transitioning into, an abundant frequency from the power frequency into the abundant frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So from the hoarding into the sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a very soft flow. You don't want to drown in it, right? If it comes too quickly, you drown in water. It's very powerful. But if you go with the flow of it, you can float and you can ride it and you can plug into it and you can turn that into your existence.
Well, speaking of abundance, You know,
Yes, ma'am.
I put out a video like a few weeks ago talking about how I understood this download I got was that the frequency of the money is shifting, it's changing. And then you watched and you said you've been getting the same messages for quite some time. Do you want to share
Yeah.
with the audience what you've been getting around the frequency of our money actually, the vibration is changing?
Yeah. So what I received, our guides, the Great Council of Light, they gave me like a little history lesson. So since the beginning of time, we were meant to exchange energy, right? We're supposed to be a sharing, a loving, souls share. That's the whole point of the soul, to share, to be a collective, to be one of the whole, to be part of the whole. That got really dumbed down into, well, if I'm going to share, if you need bread and I need money, then we're going to make that exchange. I get what I need, you get what you need.
Mm-hmm.
But then all of a sudden it's like, well, I need bread, right? Or I need bread, but I don't have money. So now what? Now what do I do? And it becomes this, well, I will give you bread, but now you owe me. So all of a sudden it went from an even exchange to now power. Now you owe me. I'm no longer sharing with you. I am conditionally giving you something. That's not giving, right? I've put ties on it already. And now not only do you owe me for the cost of the bread, but you actually owe me a fee on top of that.
Yeah, interest.
Right? Of
Yeah.
course, right? So now you owe me interest. Funny that it's called interest. There's no interest. Do you have interest in paying interest? No, nobody has interest in paying interest. The only person who's interested in receiving extra is somebody who wants to hoard it. So now money becomes power. And we live like that until the scales become so skewed that only 1% of the population has hoards most of the money. And everybody else is literally fighting for scraps and crumbs. That's what's changing. So through this period of growth, through the cracking open of everybody, through the breaking of that glass ceiling, people awaken to the concept of, wait a second, I don't have to live enslaved to power. It's not money. Money represents power in this 3D existence. As we shift out of that, you go, oh, wait a second. So money is important. I get it. It makes the world go round, but why? Why? Because I want to share it, because I want to grow it. What else does that? Abundance. Abundance is the sharing and the growing of all blessing. Right? So I'm halfway between explaining and channeling right now. So they're going to drop words in. But what we can do, and I'll be sharing this within our community. It's an activation for the new year. This is a sneak peek. So an activation to plug into the frequency of abundance. It was awesome when they explained that and then showed me and took me there, plugged me into the frequency of abundance. Holy hell, seriously. Ever since then, it's been nonstop phone calls. What can we do for you? What can we do for you? It's been amazing. So money now becomes abundance. And the only way to generate abundance is to share first. That's what I have been explained. You have to share in order to receive. If you receive, you place expectations on what you're getting. That's power. I place an expectation on you to give to me. And you're like, but I just want to share with you. Yes, but I've already put the expectation on you. So now I have power over you because now energetically I made you share with me. That's not sharing. That's not sharing in any way. But if I sit in receivership, because you give to me, I say thank you, I give back to you. Totally different frequency, totally different vibration. So when you're really good at something, right? And you're meant to make money from it. Oh my God. How we started this conversation, like it's all coming together. Don't you love it? All right. Give it. Give it away. Give it away. Share it. Then the more you give, the more the people who actually receive, they receive in pureness. And from that point, they turn around and they go, holy God, thank you so much. What can I do for you? And at that point, you can say, I need X, Y, and Z. Done. You're going to get it. I promise you, you're going to get it.
Well, I hear that a lot. I hear, like, when I listen to a couple of different people who have podcasts, and some of them have incredible, like they're incredible entrepreneurs, tons of money. But they talk a lot about kindness and compassion and happiness as like your goals for success, not the money. The money is like the secondary thing that comes along.
Absolutely.
Like it's not the motivating factor. And the more that you do give, the more that you just naturally receive, because it's an energy that you've put out without that condition. Like it's coming from such a place that is pure, like you said. So, and I think the way we handle money, the way we use money too, because we're shifting our own internal vibration, the way we utilize it is also helping it to shift its vibration, so that it's no longer coming from this place of I need.
Right. Scarcity.
From scarcity. So it's interesting. We're in very interesting times. And of course, this doesn't happen overnight. It's not going to all happen next year or anything like that. But this is what we're starting to see a transition of. And I see this happening in a lot of different communities. When I listen to other podcasts and I hear people being interviewed, or different, even if it's a call-in show, like it's very enlightening. And I want to say uplifting to hear that. I think the world's going in a really good place. But of course, it doesn't just mean we're on some utopian roller coaster ride, like to get
this
there.
Is whole new. We have to figure out the rules.
Yeah.
There's still going to be some rules.
Yeah, exactly. So what have you guys got going on? Let my audience know. You said you're going to be doing this abundance channel for people in the new year. And people, I know some people already know about your spirit calling, but just let everyone know what's going on.
Yeah. So spirit calling, we're on a mission. We are on a mission, and we take our instruction from our angelic guides, and they've put us on a mission to connect 1% of the world, a soul connection, 1% of soul connection, because that's the inflection point. So I love that 1% of the current population holds the majority of wealth, right? So it was like conceptually it's there, everybody. Conceptually it's there. It just, was done incorrectly. But now if you connect abundantly 1% of the human population, that's the inflection point. You change the vibration to peace, abundance, sharing, hope. We're not chasing happiness either. Like, I want to be real clear about that. Happiness is a lower vibration than peace. We're after the peace. Eye on the prize. That's what I keep saying. Eye on the prize.
Well, the thing is, though,
you're going to experience happiness. You will have the joy. You will have the happiness.
But I don't think anyone should be chasing anything, because if you're chasing something, it comes from a place of, I don't believe I have it yet. So you've got
all within you.
Yeah, it's all within.
You just have to discover it. That's all.
Exactly.
Thank you for that correction. You're absolutely correct. Don't chase after it, because it's actually within you. You wind up running in a circle right back to yourself.
Just unlock it.
Unlock it. Release it.
Yeah.
So that's our goal. Our goal is to reach the 1% of souls around the planet, connect everybody so that we can increase that hope vibration, increase that peace vibration, make it easier on the bulk of humanity to make this shift, make it easier on our planet, stop stressing it out so much, stop stressing out our environment so much. And to do that, when you're a member of the community, we've got tools to help make this whole ascension easier. So every month we have sound healings. And when those are absolute. Every month you get a sound healing to help activate whatever DNA reprogramming is coming through. They're paired with high vibration music so that your cells are stimulated, your nervous system is soothed and calmed, and your cells are actually open to receiving as much vibration as possible, and open, and then receiving that frequency that comes in on the words. They're very specific frequency for activation that had to be repeated. And then there are special things like this abundance activation that was channeled a few weeks ago, and I am waiting to be told to release it. It'll be released within the community so that everybody gets to listen to it and receive it. They're actually holding my head back right now. They're holding my head back. And then the most important part, they're trying to open my throat, but because they want the next statement to actually come through the throat chakra as opposed to dropping into my head and coming out. They're asking for it to come through the back of my skull, which makes it divine. Most of all, we offer community, and that's the support aspect. You are with like-minded people who get it, who have been where you are or are where you are. And it's important for people to receive this because of this huge, massive shift that we've just started. Like, you think it's rough now, we're just getting started. So when this hits 2023 is when it like really starts to culminate. When that hits, you have a place to land where you can say, what the fuck? And somebody's going to chime in and say, what the fuck about what? Because I'm saying, what the fuck about this? And then you've got guides like Pamela or myself or anybody else. We have a really beautiful growing group of healers and practitioners that jump in to say, how about this? How about that? Let's support you this way. How can we support you that way? And then every month we have community calls twice a month. The first one is always, it's a channeled lesson. So something will come through me, and if I sit in channel, the guides will say, teach X, Y, and Z. Done. Got it. Give me the lesson plan. And that gets taught. And then it's open form. Ask any questions. If you've got a specific questions for the guides, we'll channel you the answer. And then, yay, the second one is always a guest speaker. And everybody, Nicole's going to be a guest speaker. We're so excited. I think we might have you booked twice, don't we? Or at least once. I know
so.
We have you.
I think
it's twice though.
You have me in January and March right now.
That's what I thought. So exciting.
Yeah.
Our community gets to interact with our guests, and our guests are awesome. The guest speakers are awesome, and they come and they bring their expertise and their knowledge and their secret sauce, and they share and answer any questions and share whatever it is that they've got going on as well. So that we've got this knowledge base and a networking happening so that we can all connect to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. And I think, it's important for everyone to have that community and that support. It's essential, as you were saying, to any kind of growth. You can't grow alone. You plant seeds, you need to water them, you need to support them. And just as your new seeds are being planted within you, you're going to need support around you to help you flourish. So having a support system is incredibly important in this entire journey. So I thank you both for doing the work you do.
We're honored.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and of course, Pamela, for coming on the show. And I know that I'll probably have you guys on sometime next year for sure. And I look forward to being in your community next month.
Oh my gosh, we can't wait. We can't wait to have you.
Well, guys, this is the last one for the new year. So have a very happy new year. I hope you spend it in a way that fulfills your heart and your needs. And let's bring in the momentum of 2023 with a lot of intention for building great things. I love you guys. Have an incredible New Year's, and I'll see you in 2023. Thanks again for joining me for another show on the Enlighten Up podcast. I love you guys so much for all of your continued support. So remember to raise your vibe, find your tribe, and be open to the infinite possibilities held in the mysteries that surround us all. Thanks again for sharing the show with your family and friends. And if you're new to the show and you need to find out more information about me, please head on over to my website, NicoleFrolick.com, where you can join my newsletter. And please follow me on Instagram, Telegram, and YouTube. Keep your light bright, and I'll see you next week.